According to the National Center for Children in Poverty, a third of New Jersey children come from families with low income. Governor Kean, what does that portend for our state?
It portends nothing good because what you do for children and the future of those children is what the state should be all about. Now, maybe it's because I come from a different generation, but we used to talk a lot about poverty. Maybe it's because I remember the riots, maybe because I remember Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty. But governors, presidents used to make that a central piece. What are we going to do but for people who are poor? We don't do it anymore. Politics now, we talk about the middle class. Nothing wrong with talking about the middle class, but we forget the poor.
Have we just forgotten that as a priority in our nation and here in New Jersey, in our state?
I'm ashamed of our politicians in that subject because, and it's been fairly recently, it's been the last 2 or 3 governors haven't talked much about it, the last 2 or 3 presidents haven't talked much about it. It's off the political table, and we got to put it back on. And you know, we didn't do as much as we should, but we did a lot of things. I mean, we even the funding of legal services, because what do you do if you're a woman with 3 children and no husband? You're getting thrown out of the place you live. Where do you go? Well, legal services. So you funded that. We had a welfare program which they tried to replicate nationally, which said we will pay for schooling, and we will let you stay on welfare, and we will subsidize the first job. It was a nationally replicated welfare program. We don't do it anymore. We had food banks we supported. We had helped the federal government distribute cheese in the poor areas and the black churches. I mean, we had a lot of programs which we identified as trying to help children, trying to help poor people. And we got to get back there. I mean, we've got, whether you're a governor or president, you got to get back to doing something for people who are poor.
Well, what can a governor, legislators do to lead in this effort? Because you mentioned some of the concerns, certainly quality education, social service programs, transportation, job training and opportunities. They're all part of the picture. Do you agree?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So what are some of the solutions that can work?
Well, of course, education. And I'm all for the programs that talk about preschool because we have good evidence that when you give people a preschool education, it helps right on up. And when you don't, you suffer. A lot of these families don't have the kind of education that middle-class families do around a dining room table. They just don't have it. And so you've got to supplement that with preschool education. And that should certainly be mandatory for any of the communities, particularly where predominance of people of poverty live. I mean, that should be for everybody. And you've got to make sure that whether you do it through food banks or you do it through programs, you've got to have enough to eat. You've got to have a decent place to live. I mean, they've got to do all those kind of things that are fundamental. They're not big deals. I remember going to a black church in Newark, and I told what I wanted to do, and this woman got up and said, "Governor, I only want one thing." She said, I'm trying to feed my family. I can't get a job in Newark. I take the bus out of town to my job. And she said, I've been mugged 3 times in the last month in the street. Could you just get a policeman on that corner so our community is safe? Well, we did a Safe and Clean Streets program where we provided her and every other urban area more policemen and did it at state expense. And that's what you need. I mean, just the fundamental things. Decent food, decent place to live, public safety, education that teaches and doesn't just warehouse children. I mean, that's what you need, and every governor of this state ought to be dedicated to those principles.
What would it take for New Jersey to lead the way nationally as the most urbanized state in the country?
It would be wonderful. It would take, first of all, it would take a commitment. It would take a governor who wants to make a speech to the legislature and say, look, we have too much child poverty. We have these conditions. We cannot stand for it in a state as wealthy as New Jersey, and here are 6 programs that we've got to do to end it. Then it would take a legislator who takes those programs from the governor and modifies them any way they want and comes and passes them, and we have a state then guaranteed to do what's right. And a state, then you can set an example for the rest of the country. The one thing I do remember, when we did good things in New Jersey, the national government replicate them. For instance, education, I got mentioned in 2 State of the Nation addresses by presidents. because they want to adopt programs that we'd already adopted in New Jersey. And so you can lead in the states, you can lead, and the federal government will follow if you lead properly.
So New Jersey can take a leadership role.
Not only can, but has and should. New Jersey should always be a leader.
Well, thank you for focusing our attention on the need and some solutions. Governor Kean, thank you very much.
No, thank you.